Hello everybody and welcome to this video. In today's video we're going to lay out the exact step-by-step structure to perform a ritual with the great Duke Bune. Now before we get into it, I have many videos on this channel about Bune, so if you want to know more information, more in-depth information about offerings or my personal experience, please feel free to check out these videos. I'm recording this video as an act of gratitude towards Bune and also as an offering. I personally had great results working with Duke Bune, and I don't think there is an exact step-by-step tutorial out there on how to perform a ritual with Bune. Now, furthermore, of course, as a little disclaimer, I want to add that do research about what you are getting yourself into. This is not Hollywood movies. You're not going to perform a ritual and money is going to fall from the sky. Most obviously not. But this can definitely change your life. Sometimes, though, it is our own shadows, our own unintegrated parts, our own subconscious beliefs that need to be revamped, removed, or brought to the surface, which can come with heavy emotions circulating, which can come with significant changes in life. So make sure that you know and that you are aware and that you get prepared to what it is that is going to happen. Getting wealthy, manifesting money, working with Bune for whatever purpose it is that you're seeking, it's going to come with consequences in a matter of you're going to have to do your part. And there's also going to be significant energetical consequences and of things that will be brought to the surface that you will have to deal with because they're holding you back from the manifestation that you want to be achieving. If you're aware of what you're getting yourself into and you have done all the necessary research, let's move ahead now to the step-by-step plan for the ritual. Now, first things first, what you have to understand before we get into any of these things, you want to make sure that the spirit that you're working with is actually aligned with you. So do some research about what Bune stands for, what his process is, what his energy feels like, and what other people have experienced. Now, next to that, you will need a clear intention, all right? You want to know what you want to be getting out of the ritual. Don't just come empty-handed, but also have a real plan of what you want. A lot of people, including me, they work with Bune for wealth and money. They work with Bune for synchronicity. Now, you got to be aware, though, that money is not going to fall from the sky, most obviously, okay? So you need to create the paths, the pathways, the avenues, the businesses, the opportunities, whatever it is, you need to put in the effort in order for these synchronicities to actually come into fruition. If you're asking for money, you better have a game plan in check that helps you to generate that money. If you're asking for a particular sum of money, don't expect a briefcase full of money to appear in front of your doorstep. All right? You actually want to be doing the necessary things required. You want to have a realistic game plan. You want to have the openings, the avenues, the energetical pathways for money to flow and continuously come into your life if you're working with Bune for the intent of money. This is just something that I want to add here, okay? A lot of people, they also work with Bune for necromancy. Now, this video is more so about wealth and money, magic with Bune. As we understand that, the next thing in preparation for the ritual is going to be the preparatory immersion, okay? You want to learn everything and anything that you can. You have the intent, you understand what you're getting yourself into, you've done the research. Now you're going to do a little bit of research of the spirit, okay? Watch my videos here on YouTube. I have a bunch of them, even under different channels. I put out a lot of content about Bune, about my experience, etc. There's websites about Bune, forums about Bune. There are his enchantings or her enchantings here on YouTube. And you can listen to these. You can look at the sigil. You can listen to the enchantings, to the meditations, and align yourself with the energy of Bune. You can read up on Bune in the Goetia, for example, from S. Connolly, and you gather the information so you understand what you align yourself with, and during the ritual, you actually have a sort of image in your head. You have an energetical signature in your head. You have a pathway, an opening, an understanding of what it is that you're working with. Now, the next step is going to be preparing some offerings, okay? So the offerings that you want to be bringing, they don't have to follow a strict structure. Just tell you briefly some of the things that I like to use and some of the elements that I find very productive. Now, the first thing and most essential thing that you're going to need is going to be the sigil. This is going to be the center and focal point of the altar that you're going to be building. The sigil is an energetical representation of the energy and entity that you're working with. It's almost like a visual decodation of the energy that you're trying to tap into. It's your gateway towards that energy, and it's absolutely essential and crucial to have it. You can either draw it or you can print it out. All right. If you print it out, make sure that you actually redraw the lines by hand so that even if printed out, it still carries a little bit of your personal signature, so to say. So the sigil is going to be the center and focal point. It's going to be the energetical vortex, the energetical access point to what it is that you're going to be tapping into. All right. And then when you have that in place, apart from that, the second most essential thing is going to be the end chanting. The end chanting, it's not an offering, but it's a preparatory thing that you need. It's the vocal decodation of energy in order to connect with Bune. And in this case, it's WEHL, MELAN, AVAGE, Bune, TASA. All right. You want to remember that. You want to know that. You want to have that with you mentally and be prepared in that way during the ritual. Now, apart from that, you can also bring some offerings of food, of sweets, of treats, of wine, of candles, and of incense. I think the order when it comes to importance is something like this. You definitely want to have some candles and you want to have some incense. These represent the elements of fire. They represent transformation. The incense represents the element of air. And it is just an extra energetical opening point, something that you can use to align the energies and just have a clear and purified space during the ritual. When you are getting candles, what you can be getting is green candles, orange candles, or black candles. This is what I personally find to be effective. When you're getting the candles, sometimes they're very cheaply made, right? So what I like to do is I like to carve the name of the being, of the energy, of the entity into the candles, but in order to dedicate them, right? But before I do that, I may cleanse them a little bit with some incense, right? Or I may get some beeswax candles, for example, if I want to get something special, right? One time I got a big green beeswax candle for Bune, okay? And this can be something, they are more energetically aligned. If you get the cheap candles, maybe cleanse them a little bit, right? Use some incense and make sure all that energetical residue is kind of like falling off. It's not necessary, but I'm just giving you a few tips that you can then kind of implement into your own process. And this is what you're going to learn over the course of doing a ritual. It's not so much about a strict, clear structure as it is about learning to tap in with your own intuition and learning energetically what works for you. At least this is my perspective. There are some people who like to do it very strict, very strategically, and following a clear, non-negotiable game plan. This is not what I'm delivering here, but again, make sure that you're getting different perspectives and going with what resonates with you the most, making your own decisions. Now, if you have the candles in place, you can carve the name of Bune into these candles. Like I said, green candles, orange candles, and black candles, they work very well. For incense, I like to use sandalwood incense. Okay, I find this to be working very well with Bune. You can also use, at least from my experience, cinnamon incense or an orange incense, something sweet. That also works very well, and these also work very well as offerings. Cinnamon works well. Sweet things like honey kind of represents the abundance of earth. Dates work very well. Dark chocolate works well. Cake works well. Yeah, all of these things, they definitely can be used as offerings that you bring onto the altar that you can be building when you're working with Bune. All right? Now, apart from that, alcohol is definitely also something I've offered before, something like a rum you can bring to the altar and then pour Bune a glass of that rum. Now, when it comes to non-physical offerings, these can be things like dedication, okay? You can dedicate yourself to repeating the ritual or certain offerings for a certain period of time, showing an energetical commitment. It can also be an offering, energetically speaking, to have something falling off of you. If you know that you're self-sabotaging, for example, and this is why your business doesn't work, or why you're not able to get the new position in your job that you're looking for, or that extra income that you so want, then you can offer things energetically as well. Like, for example, a toxic relationship, or something that you know is a habit of yours that isn't really bringing you forward. Like scrolling on Instagram every day for multiple hours, etc. These can be like energetical commitments that you also bring to the altar, and this can be something that can be an exchange of value as well. So again, I gave you a bunch of things, and you go with what resonates with you, you go with what energetically aligns with you, and you go with what your intuition tells you is the right thing to do. So now that we understand the offerings, let's actually get into the process. Okay, so you have now gathered your offerings and you have prepared a little altar. The sigil is going to be the center point of that altar. All the other offerings, you can gather it around the sigil. right? It doesn't need to be, at least not from my perspective or experience, a set in stone structure. It doesn't, you don't need an entire room, but if you want to have a little bit of a space, that's also fully okay. Yeah. So you don't need necessarily to have a large space to do it. You can also build a smaller altar with still getting very good results. Okay. So once you have your altar in place, what you're going to be doing is an energetical initiation. You're going to be doing a little circle. So I personally like to do the circle from S. Connolly. Some people like to do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Whatever intuitively aligns with you is going to be the thing that you want to be going with, is going to be the thing that's going to be working for you very well. And for example, you can use certain spirits that you draw in the cardinal directions that represent certain elements to enhance your ritual or to kind of protect the energetical space, to align the energetical space and your own mind to the process. Yeah? So, for example, as Connolly in her books does it with Lucifer, Phalereus, and then Leviathan and Belial, representing the elements of nature, and then using the cardinal directions in order to draw an energetical circle, basically. Yeah? Some people like to do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Some people do their own distortions of these things. Whatever works for you, that's what you're going to be working with. Okay? So now when you have that in place, the next thing that you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing a little meditation. Okay? So 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever it needs to kind of step back into awareness. You get back to the reality of things, that you're not your thoughts, not your emotions, but the awareness behind it. So you calm the chanting mind, the mind that chatters and just disrupts the entire process and all the conditioned thought that is arising. It needs to be pausing for a while now. Okay? You need to step back, realize and understand you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're the awareness behind it, the one that listens, okay? The one that observes, the one in which all thought arises. This is what you are. So you align yourself back with that reality because that actually calms the mind, all right? So that makes the thoughts disappear. And now we are a little bit of a more energetically aligned, open space in order to productively perform a ritual. Okay, and these are very basic things, all right? Remember this, like meditation is a part of ritual, is a part of practice when you're doing these workings, because it's going to be essential. Otherwise, you're going to be so contracted into your false self, so to say, that a lot of the results, they will be either blocked or distorted, or your entire practice is going to be led by desires that just come out of conditionings, okay? So you're going to be grounding yourself with a little meditation. This way, you're going to be opening yourself up to a more clean, clear-cut process with not so much distortion and random thoughts is what's going to be blocking the process. All right. So now, when you've done this, the next thing that you can be doing is you're actually going to initiate and start the ritual. So you're going to have the sigil as the vocal and center point on the altar. You're going to have the incense. You're going to have the candles. All right. And now you're going to start with the end chanting. Well, MELAN, TASA. Well, MELAN, and you repeat that, all right, over and over and over again. And you look into the sigil whilst you're doing it, and you see how the sigil kind of starts to open a little bit, okay? The energy in your room, it kind of shifts, right? Now you can hold your hand above the candles, right, that you prepared, and you light them as you keep enchanting, well, MELAN, TASA. And you can also hold your hand over the candles, and you can do some, mental tricks, so to say, right? You can kind of infuse the energy of Bune into the candles. Or as you light the candles, you can already visualize the goal, the intention being manifested that you have actually brought with you, right? Or, for example, if you light the incense, you can say something like, Spirit of Sandalwood, lend me your power. I dedicate, consecrate, charge, and activate this incense to and for the great Spirit Duke Bune. May as I light this incense, the Spirit of Bune be honored, worshipped, and appreciated. May the Spirit of Bune be empowered, all right? Something like this. Now, as you do this, this is kind of like dedicating the offerings, right? I bring this chocolate here for you, Bune, yada, yada, yada. You can do a little bit of dedication of the offerings whilst you're doing the enchanting, boom, right? You're creating a very powerful, energetically charged process here, okay? Now, when you have done this, and you've repeated the enchanting, you've lit the incense, you have the candles, they are burning, right? So everything is prepared. Now you have a real dense energetical space, right? And you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, wow, okay? And in this moment, right, you're going to be closing your eyes, Or you can be keep watching into the sigil. That also works, right? You can be keeping the look into it. You can kind of like visualize your desires. All of this works, right? And in this moment, now, there's going to be different outcomes for different people. Okay, some people, they're going to feel a presence of Bune. Some people, they're going to have a communication with Bune. Some people, they're not going to feel anything at all. But now in this process, now in this step of the ritual, after you dedicated everything, now is where you actually come through with the asking, with the intent, with what it is that you're seeking. So for example, some productive intentions to work with Bune are or is a particular progress in your business, for example, right? I've done this many times. Or it can be something like, Great Duke Bune, please help me to release my limiting beliefs when it comes to money. Great Duke Bune, please help me to address the core and root traumas that are driving my day-to-day actions, that are blocking me from receiving abundance. These are even more complex, more deeper, more aligned askings, right? Energetical askings, understanding that everything comes from the mind, right? And apart from severe socioeconomical circumstances, if you are living in a setup that allows for money to flow easily, which you should be if you're asking for money, this means that you have accessibility to jobs, you have accessibility, to online opportunities, you have accessibility and pathways for money to actually flow into your life. This is what you're going to be doing. All right, so you're going to be there, and you're going to be asking for your intent to come through. This can be, like I said, a particular business result. This can be bringing up, addressing, dissolving the core issues within that actually block you from receiving abundance. And you can write this intention down, all right? During the ritual or even before, you can write it down and you can bring it with you, all right? And then as you see this intention, you can visualize it, yeah? So now we're using a little bit of a strategy that works, as we know, from the mindset space, okay? So you can visualize into the sigil, you can visualize onto that little piece of paper where you wrote your intention, you can visualize, you can feel, you already bring what it is that you desire in this present moment. You feel the emotions, you see the manifestation, right? You picture it and depict it in your own mind, all right? And this is what is going to like supercharge the process, because you're in a trance state. So your subconscious mind, it's very open. And now you're going to feel, you're going to see, you're going to bring whatever it is that you desire in this present moment, like it has already happened, okay? It's already here and there. And this is going to be one of the key factors for this ritual to really show its full effect and power. Your ability to bring what it is that you desire in this particular moment already, in terms of feeling, in terms of visualizing, in terms of making it appear. Okay, because how are you going to make it appear in the physical if you can't even make it appear in your own mind? All right? So this is also where your beliefs come in, right? If you don't even believe in yourself, start with that. If you don't even believe that what it is that you desire is possible, start with these limiting beliefs and addressing these in ritual, okay? So now you're going to bring that here in visualization. And then you can ask Bune, Great Spirit Duke Bune, this is my asking. I ask for you to whatever it is that you desire, right? Please help me to scale my business. Please help me to release my limiting beliefs when it comes to money. Whatever it is, right? You're going to visualize, like I said. And then you can, during the course of the process, you can bring a little chalice and you can burn the petition as well, right? And as it burns, it kind of transforms from hard matter into smoke, into air. And you can visualize again. It's not necessary, but all of these, again, I'm giving you little tips, little hints, and whatever sticks, whatever resonates, this is what you're going to be working with, okay? And again, for me personally, from my personal experience, you don't need a hard-coded step-by-step process. You need to go with your own intuition and learn what works for you, and kind of use different strategies and different techniques from different aspects to form one very productive consensus, okay? So then you can burn the petition, you can offer it, whatever it is, definitely state it out loud, definitely ask very clearly, and then you can visualize, like I said, and this is going to be very productive. Now, another aspect of ritual is going to be what you're bringing in exchange, right? It's going to be an energetical exchange. And like I said, this can be many things. This can be giving up what it is that is holding you back from manifesting what you want to manifest. This can be the offerings that you're bringing, right? This can be a certain dedication, right? For example, I'm going to bring offerings every day or every week or every month for the next X or Y time frame. But this is going to be important that you actually hold up your part of this energetical exchange. All right. So only really, I've met these experiences in my past, only really offer what you certainly know you can fulfill, and then do that, right? Something like I'm doing right now is inherently productive, right? Talking about the Spirit publicly, sharing your experience, or sharing things that can help others to work with the Spirit, with the energy, is also an offering that I found to be very effective. All right. So what you're going to be giving in exchange, that's totally up to you. And it can be physical, it can be, mental, spiritual, dedication, whatever it is that aligns. All right. But you're definitely also going to be having the offerings that you brought, of course. Huh? Okay. So now when you have done that, all right, when you have presented your part, right, then afterwards, you're going to either receive some communication or you're going to receive nothing at all, right? This is going to be highly different for many people. Now, even if you're sitting there and there's a silence and you're just going through the process, you're going to charge the process, okay? And you're going to act like, and you're going to know, and you're going to be in that moment, knowing that the energy is with you, right? Because your self-doubt is going to be the one thing that's actually going to be sabotaging the entire process, right? If you don't receive any communications, that's okay. If you don't feel a difference, that's okay. Still go through with the process, right? Still follow through with the process. Still do the things that you said you're going to do, okay? And then another thing that you can do during the ritual is visualizations, right? We talked about that, but affirmations, that's another one, okay? Affirmations is going to be things like, if you want to manifest wealth, or if you want to manifest a certain business result, right, then you're going to do a bunch of affirmations that fit to that result. So for example, if you say that you want to scale your business to, let's say 10K per month, right, $10,000 per month, as an example, right, you're doing a whatever, social media agency or whatever it is, just a blank example, just go with the example, right? You're going to be saying things like, my agency keeps on getting new clients, they seek me out. I'm successful, I'm wealthy, I'm abundant, etc. You're going to come up with these little affirmations in the process of the rituals. We know that affirmations are able to kind of like penetrate the subconscious mind. You can even just say things like wealth, money, abundance, and you keep on repeating it, right? Because this way your subconscious mind can't even block it, right? So if you're if your money mindset is very significantly, negatively influenced, you can just say things, wealth, money. But because these words, they carry energy, all right? And we associate things with them. Our subconscious mind associates things with them. And as you say these affirmations in the ritual, right? And after you made your offering, after you made kind of like your part, after you stated your intention, it's just an extra layer that you can use, right? And then you can use the visualization, the ritual aspect, and the affirmation, and you kind of like mindset supercharge it, because you're in the trance state, you've opened up your subconscious mind, and now you see the things, you repeat the things, you kind of reprogram your own mind to create the reality that you want in correlation and combination with the energy of the Spirit that you're summoning. Okay, this is just a little tip that I can give you. You can do these affirmations then, and this is just going to be an extra point of help. Now, after it is all said and done, let's go through the process again. Okay, you're going to start with the energetical circle. You're going to do the meditation. You're going to go to your altar where the sigil is the vocal point. You're going to collect the offerings surrounding it, and you're going to supercharge the sigil by looking into it, gazing into it, and opening it, whilst also repeating the enchanting, MELAN, AVAGE, TASA, right? You're going to keep repeating that. You're going to dedicate the offerings, the alcohol, the incense, the candles, whatever it may be, right? You're going to have your intention, and now either you're already going to receive communication, you're going to feel an energetical shift, and you're not going to feel anything at all. That's also fully okay. And then you're going to write down, or already have written down, what it is that you desire. You're going to state it out loud, right? You're going to ask for it. You're going to give something in return for it, offerings, dedication, certain things out of your life that you're going to let go of, whatever, right? It's going to be an energetical exchange. Then you burn that intention, or just leave it there, doesn't matter. You're going to visualize what it is that you desire. You're going to affirm what it is that you desire. And you're going to command reality this way, and your own mind this way, to work in your favor and combination, correlation, and coherence with the energy that you have summoned, right? And over this process, you may receive some communications, you may receive some guidance, you may receive, certain insights or visions, and you're going to keep good track of that. You can even bring a little journal and write it down. Okay, and if it's all said and done, and you kind of feel the ritual energetically coming to an end, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be giving the license to depart, so to say. Okay, that's how they call it these days. And what you're going to be saying is something like, I appreciate you for coming forth, Great Duke Bune. I appreciate you for honoring me with your presence, right? May you depart as you wish to, or you can depart now, or I give you the license to depart, right? Some of these are a little bit weird. I'm not sure if energy needs the license to depart. I think it's more a matter of resonance, right? But they work, okay? And it's kind of like just an extra step of closure. And what it is that you desire, you're letting go of it now, right? And you're giving it to the energy. And in combination with your own efforts, it's going to come to fruition, right? You've planted the seed, so to say, and now you're going to seed it in the soil. So after you've done that, the license to depart, now you can do another round of the energetical circle, right, or lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or whatever it is that you're doing, right, in order then to kind of like close the entire process, how you started it, as above, so below, the snake that eats his own tail, right? Now the process is complete, and now afterwards, of course, you got to make sure that you're going to do all the things that are required in your real life, right, that if you asked for a job, you're actually going to go out there and apply for a bunch of jobs over and over and over and over again, dedicatedly to the process, showing up everywhere, making sure you do whatever it takes so that the energy can actually work, right? And actually positively help you in manifesting synchronicities, because this is what we're doing, right? We're just turning up the synchronicities, okay? So as before, somebody who went to 100 job interviews may have gotten 0. Now you're going to do the same, and there's just going to be more synchronicity, more alignment. You're going to have more things working in your favor, okay? Due to the combination of reprogramming your own mind, being able to receive what it is that you desire to receive, and the energy working in your favor, and making sure, in correlation with your own efforts, that it brings forth what it is that you desire. And of course, you're also going to be following through with your part of the bargain, in quotations, which may be, giving offerings, giving public praise, which may be, whatever it is that you need to let go of, letting go of that, etc. All right? So this is going to conclude the process of the ritual. Now again, if you want to know more information about Bune, I have a bunch of videos here on YouTube, even on other channels, okay? And I'm gonna link them all in the video description below, so you can actually check them out and see what's going on and hear a little bit more about my experience, the things that I was able to manifest, etc. So that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm certain it will help you over the course of your own process. Make sure to leave your experiences below. Let's open a little forum below that is in like a Bune appreciation forum. So everybody who has experience with Bune, I want you to leave these experiences in the comments. Everybody who's gonna work with Bune, make sure to comment below, and afterwards share your experiences and use it as a form of public praise or describing your own experiences and what has happened and the manifestations. There are thousands of positive reports about Bune online. Let's make this another outlet for this energy to appreciate it. Until then, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you in the next one.